This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Another day, another week, another harvest for some. Welcome to your number one source for Georgia agriculture. I am Ray DeLessio.
And I'm Kenny Burgamy. Lots to get to today. Straight ahead on the show, from fields and yields to your favorite jar. Join us on the Georgia Peanut Tour. However, not just a tour, it's an education in the heart of South Georgia's peanut country. From supporting agriculture to enhancing the quality of life for Georgians. Witness the impact programs of UGA Extension while discovering their mission, their challenges, and their dedication to being an essential resource. Plus, the wait is over. You're going to meet the new host of Meals from the Field and watch her create a quick, easy masterpiece using freshly grown tomatoes from North Georgia. So sit tight, because all this and more starts right now.
35 years. That's how long the Georgia Peanut Commission has played host to a farm tour designed to give attendees a firsthand look at each aspect of the industry. Damon Jones looks at this unique event and tells you how much work goes into getting peanuts out of the field and onto the shelves.
Unlike many of the farm tours held around the state each and every year, the Georgia Peanut Tour is specifically designed to attract guests unfamiliar with agriculture and peanut production. It's a 3-day crash course that provides guests with the most up-to-date look at the industry.
It's really for people new to the industry is who we target. Legislators, aides, to see what it takes to farm. And we try to educate people, and that's the purpose of this tour, is to educate people.
You know, things are evolving in the peanut world. There's new research, new information, and we want people that are not in the industry to understand better what goes on in the peanut world. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for people who don't know anything to come. It's a wonderful opportunity for those who do know a lot to come and learn more about what's going on and to see what the latest research and information is, also to get an idea of what the crop is.
That knowledge can be beneficial outside production agriculture, as it gives those in attendance a new appreciation for all the challenges that go into growing a crop.
Each part adds to the puzzle to give you a clearer picture of what's going on. And we want people to understand the opportunities, but also the difficulties of trying to produce these crops and some of the things that we deal with as we go through a season. And of course, year to year can be differently too. And this year has been a pretty tough one. We've had a lot of cool and wet early and hot and dry during the summer, which is not quite the way we want it.
While there was major concern about the crop early in the growing season, it does appear that conditions have improved. Now, it's just a matter of getting them out of the field.
We thought it was being delayed, and it was delayed in May and June, but July and August really pushed that maturity back up to where it ought to be. So the challenge is now going to be able to get the peanuts dug if the ground gets too hard and dry. Of course, we hope it doesn't get too wet, but and then to finish up the crop. But there's a lot of variability out there in the crop. Some places have stressed significantly in the growing season, and how that's going to pan out at the end remains to be seen.
Of course, harvest is just the first step in a long process, which those on the tour got an up-close look at.
You got the digging, you got the picking, you got the hauling, you got drying, you got grading, you got storage, ultimately transportation to a shelling plant, shell the peanuts, and then they're shipped to a manufacturer. A lot of Georgia's peanuts go to Jif, to go into Jif peanut butter, and then from there to the grocery store shelves, and then to your home cart.
As for the overall goal of this yearly event, it's to impress just how much this commodity means to the state.
South Georgia is the hub of the peanut industry. We grow 51% of the peanuts the last couple of years, and most of them are grown in southwest Georgia. So they're getting a look at the heart of the peanut industry while they're on this tour this year.
Reporting from Decatur County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Now to Athens, where UGA Extension hosted its annual State of the Extension Address. It's a pivotal event where Extension leadership provides comprehensive updates on the organization's current initiatives and outlines their future plans. John Holcomb was in attendance and brings you the full story.
Since 1914, UGA Cooperative Extension has been working to maintain its mission, which is to be an agricultural resource that is used to advance agriculture and ensure quality of life for Georgians. Of course, a lot has changed with Extension since 1914, as they've worked to develop programs that help benefit Georgians in all walks of life.
Most people are familiar with our Ag and Natural Resource Program area. That's what we're really known for, supporting that production agriculture side of things. We also have tremendous urban agriculture programs, and that's definitely an emerging sector of our clientele. But we also have wonderful programs in 4-H and youth development and in family and consumer sciences. Most people do know about 4-H, they've heard of 4-H, but many people don't realize that 4-H is the youth component of UGA Extension. And then our family and consumer science programs span the gamut from birth to the elderly, and they help people in a variety of areas: home, family, nutrition, financial literacy, all of those types of things that will enhance quality of life.
Of course, one big area that Extension has been working on the last few years to improve quality of life is in the area of behavioral health, which became a big topic following Hurricane Michael's devastating blow to the state's ag industry in rural communities. According to Johnson, they've made significant headway, but still have a lot of work to do.
As people that work in Extension that work very closely with that farm population, we wanted to help but weren't sure that we had all the resources we needed. So we reached out and partnered with those in public health and in the School of Social Work. We became much more knowledgeable about stress and rural health issues, farmer suicide, and then we started trying to integrate those programs at the local level. It really was challenging because it wasn't a subject that our ag specialists or ag agents or even farmers really wanted to talk about. But we got a few champions, and we started by going to production meetings, just doing some simple health screenings, taking blood pressure, just giving information out. The first time we did that was in Colquitt County in January of 2020, and the next day 2 farmers called the counselor resource that we had lined up. So that continued to show us how vital and how important that was.
According to Johnson, the challenges aren't slowing down, as farmers continue to face unprecedented obstacles and issues on the farm, whether it's hurricanes or steepening overhead costs, but says Extension will continue to work towards being a great resource for anyone that needs it.
The issues that we will face now and moving forward will continue to be more and more complex, and I feel like for us to be able to do everything we can to address those needs, we're going to have to continue to partner with other entities.
Reporting in Athens for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
After the break, it's the long-awaited debut of new Meals from the Field host, Dr. Tracy Brigman. You ready for this? Tracy has not one but 2 mouth-watering recipes that will have you racing to your kitchen to recreate them. That is next when the Farm Monitor continues.
Well, suffice it to say, we searched high and low, East Coast to West Coast, to Timbuktu and beyond. Everywhere we searched for the perfect host to continue with Meals from the Field, and we think we found her. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Tracy Brigman from the University of Georgia. Tracy, so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for joining the Farm Monitor family. Now, if anybody watched Ranger Nick a couple months ago, you may have seen Tracy doing a special segment with Ranger Nick, and that's when the wheel started turning, and we said we have to tap into her expertise and tap into her camera presence. So again, welcome.
Yes.
Let's start a little bit about your background, your title, what all you do.
Sure. I am a registered and licensed dietitian. And I am a clinical associate professor here at the University of Georgia. Along with that, I am the director of the FACS Education Degree Program, and that I am the associate director for the National Center for Home Food Preservation. So I wear lots of hats, and I enjoy all of them.
So what Tracy is trying to say is that she has street cred, okay?
Yes.
So this is why she is perfect for this. And the phone calls that we have had, the conversations, Tracy just absolutely loves to cook. She loves simple, quick, easy recipes. and we have one today, so we will let you get started.
Absolutely. So we're starting today with a baked tomato pie. Tomatoes from Osage Farm are really top quality right now, and so I pre-baked my pie crust for about 10 minutes at 350. I had to weigh my pie crust down. I used dry beans. You can use sugar, you can use pie weights, but we don't want it to bubble a bunch. So I have my pre-baked pie crust. I don't want it browned, just baked. And then I sliced my tomatoes. I sliced them vertically because I wanted to de-seed them, and then I sprinkled half a teaspoon of salt on them to try to pull even more water out of it. And then I patted them with a paper towel because if they're too liquidy, my pie crust is going to get soggy. So I cut about 2 or 3 tomatoes, and I'm just going to layer them on my pre-baked pie crust so that they're pretty even. And then I'm going to take, I had chopped up 6 large basil leaves. So this is 6 chopped. I'm going to take half of that. So, you know, you can just eyeball half. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect because we're going to layer. So I'm going to put about half of my 6 basil leaves that were chopped. They're actually chiffonaded on that. And then this is 1.25 cups of sharp cheddar cheese. You can use mozzarella, you can use Colby Jack, you can mix and match whatever cheese you like. So again, this is 1.5 cups, and I'm going to take half of that and sprinkle it evenly on top of my tomato and basil. So I have half my cheese, and then I have balsamic vinegar. It calls for 2 teaspoons. So again, I'm only doing half because I'm layering. So I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of balsamic vinegar, not vinaigrette, but vinegar, and just kind of sprinkle it along the top. And then I have 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and I'm going to use half of that, so 1/8. You'll notice I didn't add any salt, and the reason why I did not add salt was I salted the tomatoes when I was trying to sweat them.
Okay.
And so there's plenty of salt in it. So I have my first layer, and then I just repeat. So again, my tomatoes, try to make them nice and flat so that the pie bakes pretty evenly. And if it doesn't look even, that's fine. I'm not, you know, I'm all about taste. Presentation's nice, but taste is more important. And then finally, we top it off.
I was wondering what the mayonnaise was for.
We top it off with 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup mayonnaise. So this is full-fledged mayonnaise. If you want to use lower fat, you can. They have some other mayonnaises that are part olive oil, and that would work too. But you're gonna, and mayonnaise is gonna be hard to spread on this. It doesn't matter if it gets caught up in the cheese. You know, it kind of messes up your top layer, but you want to have enough mayonnaise, to cover the top.
Okay.
And it's okay, because it's gonna heat up and melt down through anyway. So it's not gonna look pretty going into the oven, but when it comes out, it'll look delicious and it will taste delicious. So once I have it evenly spread out, make sure my cheese is in there, then I'm going to bake it in a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes until it's nicely browned on top. And there you have your Southern tomato pie.
All right, so that is the tomato pie. We're moving on to the next recipe that also includes tomatoes.
It does. It does.
There's a theme today.
Yes,
it's all
yes.
tomatoes.
All tomatoes. So one of my favorite things are caprese. I will eat anything caprese. I've done eggplant on the grill with caprese on top, caprese sandwiches. So I have 1 tomato that I sliced thinly. And these are pretty big tomatoes, so it could be, you know, obviously I'm not using all of it. So I'm going to put tomato as best I can on a flatbread. Flatbread, this is a plain one. They have garlic flavor. They have all different kinds of flavors. This is plain, as I said. I just take my thinly sliced tomato, layer it on my flatbread, and then pre-sliced mozzarella is a wonderful thing. With cheese, if you're not using all of the cheese, it's important not to touch it with your fingers. Like, I never put my hand in a thing of shredded cheese because then it molds very easily. So this, since we've touched it, we'll just have to eat it. Shame on us.
You have to set a good example for your students, don't you?
I know, I do. So then we just simply cover it with as much or as little mozzarella as you want. I'm going to bake this in an oven, 425 degrees for 8 to 9 minutes, and then when it comes out, I'm going to top it with chopped basil leaves. Basil doesn't like the heat, so if I put it on top before I stick it in the oven, it'll come out black, and that's not very pretty. So I want a nice bright. So I'm going to, after this comes out, once it's heated, I will top it, and then optionally, you can top the baked flatbread with a drizzle of olive oil, and then shake some red pepper flake and some oregano on top for even more flavor.
So you're already off to a good start because you picked recipes that I can make. Okay,
Yeah.
Easy stuff. If I'm getting ready to watch the dogs play, you know, little easy stuff. Like
I'm all about easy prep and easy cleanup. This
Okay.
did not make a bunch of dishes either. So, and this is really a fan favorite because you can personalize it if you want.
And then there you see the finished product of that, and that is it. And like we said, the trend continues. Quick, easy recipes here on Meals from the Field. Recipes you can find by logging on to our website, farm-monitor.com. Scroll all the way up, go to the recipe section, and something new. You all have been wanting it. You've been asking for a search bar that you could search your favorite recipes. It's up there now. We heard the complaints. We did it for you. So yes, you can go up to that search bar and find anything. Type in tomato and all the tomato recipes come up. Type in apples and all the apple recipes come up. So very quick and easy. Tracy, it is a pleasure. Again, welcome to the family. Thank you so much for doing this. We look forward to many, many more. And again, I'm sure everybody out there is appreciative to have you as well. So
I'm happy to be here.
So we shall see you next month,
Yes.
and we shall see you next month for another edition of Meals from the Field.
Up next, with sold-out crowds, world-class livestock, and contestants vying for serious money, get ready to experience the ultimate showdown in the heart of Franklin County.
This 5-ply CLT would be supplied on most commercial job sites in, say, 8 foot by 20 foot, 5 by 40 foot, very large pieces, which are installed using cranes and construction equipment. And one of the advantages of mass timber construction is because these panels come to the job site pre-cut, the velocity or speed of construction is very high, and these buildings erect very quickly. The time to construction is on everyone's mind. In a CLT building or any mass timber building, most of the time is spent in manufacturing.
All of these panels and beams have been prefabricated, pre-drilled for all of the plumbing, intranet, electrical. That's all in place. You simply have a small crew flying these panels into place, and you really only need a parking spot for 4 or 5 people to run the crane and the tag lines to guide these panels into place. Your crane is much smaller and lighter and cheaper than if you're lifting structural steel up into the air to build a conventional building. Then you have to factor in the savings of being on the construction site for a very short period of time.
They're built like Lincoln Logs. I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina about 2 years ago where they were building barracks out of this material, and I was amazed at how quickly that these buildings came together, because they may be putting on level 3, well then people can go on level 2 and be putting in drywall, electrical, plumbing.
Impact on the neighborhood of the concrete trucks and the bigger cranes and dozens more construction workers. Those are hard to put a value on, but project developers and construction managers understand those are tangible benefits.
One of the typical approaches to designing a commercial or residential CLT building is to leave most of the wood exposed, because people enjoy the look and feel of wood, even the smell, and you can save money by eliminating those finishes in the building.
Young people, creative people, like this material. They want to live in buildings that are made of wood as opposed to buildings that are made of concrete.
I've had questions about where will this additional timber come from to satisfy the mass timber market. That's not a problem. We've been growing 40% or more timber every year in the Southeast than we harvest.
Because Georgia is such a large timber producing state, we have the infrastructure to support this kind of an industry. We have the financial resources to create these kinds of products and to enhance the economy of our state in the process. We have the academic institutions which are supported by the state, which can advance this kind of construction.
Here at Georgia Tech, for example, we're changing the curriculum in architecture and civil engineering so that students are introduced to mass timber and know how to design with mass timber.
When this does catch on and the economy scale does come up, it will definitely be a benefit for the landowner to open up new markets for their timber.
We have a market that's growing. The bottleneck today is mass timber manufacturing facilities are few and far between. That's coming. The market will answer that call.
We're one of the first states to have adopted new provisions of the Standard Building Code, which allow timber buildings now to be up to 18 stories tall. So we have the infrastructure in place. As a matter of fact, our firm is working on an 18-story mass timber building right now. So I see it as a way to lead us into a more sustainable future and a more economically prosperous future.
Finally this week, what's the one event that can shut down an entire town, attract people from across the country, and require 2 nights because each night is packed to capacity? That would be this, the one and only Franklin County Rodeo.
We started 1993. And it was at another location for 3 years. We moved over here and we've been here ever since. 8 seconds, an urban cowboy and everything came out about that time, and everybody wanted to be a cowboy, so they buck bulls here every Thursday night. They said, well, let's make a rodeo out of it. So they picked the weekend, and it was sold out crowd from then on.
You got to have producers like Colt Hart to produce it and put it on, to advertise before we get here. We bring the livestock. You got to have contestants here to put on a good show, but you also got to have the fans. I mean, it's all a work together to make it work. This has been going on for 30 years. Great place to come. Hospitality is outstanding. I mean, one place we look forward to coming to every year.
These people travel from all over to come to this, and it's serious money to them. You know, this is what they do. You know, some of these people ain't got a job. They come here expecting to win the bull riding so they can have money to feed their family for the next week.
I've watched this rodeo grow, you know, over the years. I was here, I think, at the first one they have. I wasn't actually the clown, but I was here. You know, if you've come here, the atmosphere is good. It's, you know, it's crazy to think that you would come out here in the middle of nowhere and have a rodeo this size, this big.
You know, I've got a lot of great sponsors. I've probably got 40, 50 sponsors that help me with this thing, and they look forward to it every year. You know, they want to come and be a part of it and let their name be shown, and they love supporting it.
Great time. Huge thanks to Colt Hart for inviting me out there.
Absolutely. And speaking of time, we are out of time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.